Greetings, I'm Jim Cameron. I grew up in this house. It's the first house I remembered and was here until seventh or eighth grade. This was the dining room. There was a beautiful dining room table here with hutches at either end, as I remember. And this blue willow, some of the blue willow was my mom's favorite pattern and was donated. And I can safely say I've never eaten off of those blue willows because I was a little boy at that time, and we didn't use the china.
And what years did your family live here?
I was born in '47, and then and so we moved here shortly after that. We were over on Middle Street, East Street, and came here before I can remember. This is the first house I remember. And then we moved when I was between seventh and eighth grade here.
Okay.
So do the math.
About 1960 or so?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. Okay, we moved to the house out on Fur Road in '59 because that's also when the high school opened.
Okay. And I'm going to just step back without you. Just a reminder that this entryway was actually the bathroom at that time. So the front door is actually what we now consider the back door.
And then the kitchen is here. Was here. That was the garage that was. There were
what's now the kitchen.
Steps that went down, and then there was even an attic up there that we played in, even though we were told not to. And this was the kitchen. The kitchen table was over here. Storage here. The sink was here because I remember my mom would wash dishes, and there were times when I'd play ball when I didn't have friends over, and I'd throw the ball against the house and catch it and played all those silly games in my mind. But she would be here washing the dishes. So had many meals in this room. Coming your way.
Hello. And we've got friends of Jim's here.
Yeah, and this was the front door, completely different. We always came in and out off of Middle Street. And there was the sidewalk there because there were shrubs and so forth back here. And then there was a coat closet on either side, and this was the living room. And back in the day, you could put a ball here, like basketball, and it just would roll right on down. And a quick story, if it's all right.
Oh, absolutely.
Before I was in kindergarten, I was home with my mom, and she would burn papers in the fireplace here. So I, of course, was here to help her as a 4.5, 5-year-old. And so I don't know what she had to do, but she left me with papers, and I thought, well, let's get it done. So I kept feeding the fire with paper, and it finally, got so big it actually came out. And
oh, jeez!
This mammal, it was burned all the way up, and that was one of the few times that my mother decided that my dad was going to work on the discipline for this one. My mom was very good at keeping track of us, but this one was just one of the few times I heard her say, "Wait till your dad gets home." I hadn't heard that many times, but I knew it probably wasn't a good time.
Well, speaking of your dad coming home, you relayed previously about him reading the paper in the corner here.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And there are some good pictures, but my dad, this was kind of his corner where he read his paper, and then it was good because I think he liked it because he could keep an eye on things that were going on, rather than being with his back to
yeah. Smart man. I should point out for the record, if not already clear, Jim, let's hear a little bit about your parents, who they were.
Okay. My dad, Charles Stewart Cameron, was born in Nova Scotia, went to Kalamazoo College, took his first teaching job in Tulsa in 1937. He was a social studies teacher. He coached varsity football, varsity basketball, and JV basketball.
Wow.
And varsity baseball his first year of teaching. So 3 varsity sports and a JV sport his first year. He did that for several years. And then I don't know the years, but after teaching, he became a principal. And then when Albert Johnson, who was the superintendent for many years, when he left to go to Willow Run, Dad became superintendent. And I can't tell you when that was. But my mom, Ruth Sinclair Cameron, born in Climax, Michigan, they met at Kalamazoo College. Yeah, she graduated magna cum laude from Kalamazoo College, got a master's degree in British literature at the University of Michigan. You know, highly educated woman of the 40s, post-World War II, early 50s. And my folks got married in 1940 and started a family, and so Mom stayed home with the kids. Here's this incredibly educated woman, but because of the time period, you know, she stayed home with the kids and produced 4 wonderful children. So, yeah.
And how is it they picked Chelsea?
I don't know for sure, other than he was looking for a job, a teaching job.
Okay.
And they hired him, so here he was.
And last question, I know he was from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. How did he end up at Kalamazoo College?
His dad worked in the steel mills for his uncle. And his uncle ran the steel mill, but was administrative. Dad was just a worker. And the workers went on strike, and his uncle fired him.
Oh, jeez.
His dad. And so my Grandpa Cameron, who I never met, got the kids together, and they were headed to Chicago, the steel mills in Chicago, steel mill. And my dad, I remember him telling a story when they came across the river in Detroit, that he remembers seeing one of the, I want to say Fago signs, but I don't think that was it, and just the bright lights, and he was so impressed. Well, they ended up stopping in Ferndale, and Grandpa Cameron got a job with the city of Ferndale, building and grounds, clean up, repair, and that sort of thing. And so they just stayed.
Huh.
And my dad graduated from Ferndale High School, and Dad was a pretty good athlete. He played football and basketball, and I think baseball in high school. And then I don't think he was good enough to go to Michigan or Michigan State, but ended up at Kalamazoo, and I'm not exactly sure why, other than, no, that couldn't have been, because my mom was from Climax, which is just outside of Kalamazoo, but I don't think there's a connection.
All right. Oh, great.
But went to Kalamazoo, and he played varsity football there, had many letters, varsity basketball, so he was a pretty good athlete. Then applied, I guess, at Chelsea, and
fantastic.
Was here for 40 years.
We're the better for it. Quick recap. Upstairs, we're not going to take the camera up there, but upstairs were the bedrooms. Who was where?
We had a double bunk bed on the west side of the house, and so I slept up above. It shifted right through the years.
Sure.
And then my younger brother was in the lower bunk, and then there were other beds, you know, in that's kind of an open room, or at least it was. So it was spread out, but there were beds on this east end. I got my direction right. And then my sister was in the bedroom up above, looking out on the depot.
Okay.
And my folks had what we talked about as the dining room was their bedroom for a lot of years.
Oh, really? All right.
So, and then that became the TV room for a while.
Wonderful. Any other memories of the house to share?
Thousands, but we don't have time right now.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to shut this off now.
All right.